right, guys. Let's start the interview. First off, yesterday's youth, Kai and Alex. Super stoked to have you guys on here. And when I was approached, about helping you guys promote your new album, Blessed by My Mistakes, I was all for it because one thing I like doing is helping bands that are really motivated and are really driven and are constantly out there, working, advertising, working and advertising. And when I looked on, on your guys' pages and looked into you guys, I was really noticing how hard you guys work on your brand, on your purpose, and on the music in general. So welcome to the Metal Mixtape, Kai and Alex.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, dude. So one of the things I always like going into, especially with bands that I've only heard recently, I've only been listening to you guys for maybe like 2 weeks since we scheduled the interview, is how you guys all came to be, how you guys became friends, and also I'm very interested in why the name Yesterday's Youth.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Kai or Alex, either you could take the run for it.
Let's start with the name. The name is something that I really wish I could tell people had this crazy sentimental value, or pull a 21 Pilots and just tell them a different story every time. But it was honestly just something that aesthetically made a lot of sense with the first drummer I had in the band. It just looked right. And we were like, yeah, that sounds cool. And we just kind of ran with it. And then in regards to meeting, we all met off sketchy Craigslist ads and connections to other bands. So yeah, kind of formed pretty naturally after that.
Dude, you guys seem like you have a lot of chemistry for just meeting each other off of Craigslist. But what was it, love at first sight, Kai? Would you say, like with everyone in the band, or was this like something like it was like you guys had to develop your sound and really get the chemistry down first? What would you say, Kai?
I mean, I feel like it's a good mix of both. I know for sure that I have a strong, attachment towards a drive to put in the work and to make things happen. And I think me and Alex both kind of connected with that, like right off the bat. You just kind of, I think we both saw that we both were in this for the long haul. And then when it comes to developing, it took us a minute to develop, I think, a sound chemistry. I think a little bit, just kind of a natural process of learning each other's styles and how to play with each other and write with each other, keeping each other in mind, and then doing that for the whole band. But yeah, in terms of like, I think seeing the potential, I think we both were pretty clicked on, pretty much right at the beginning there.
That's pretty awesome. So when you guys first started, was it like, let's write a bunch of songs and then pick which ones we feel like represents us, or was it kind of like let's record anything we learn? Because I know, like, from experience starting a new band, you write these songs and like they're kind of all over the place. The structure is kind of everybody's kind of learning, and everybody's kind of like still like being like, hey, what if I write about this? Or so everybody's still finding each other's boundaries as far as like criticism and all that. Did you guys write for a while before you decided, like, okay, like this is more of the direction we're gonna stick with?
Yeah. I wish we wrote for a while before releasing stuff. I had a bunch of songs that, looking back on, I'm like, this doesn't identify with who I am at all now. I think the message was always there, and it's things that we stood for, wanted to talk about. And we all knew we wanted to become much better musicians, but this tone and quality and kind of I guess the drive for making music the way we did was not where it ended up being now. When now it seems like we're in a much better place to just be writing stuff that really feels like we're in the right place to be writing stuff, and we've really come a long way and put in the hours to make more developed and mature sounding songs.
Absolutely. What would you say on that, Kai?
Yeah, I mean, we pumped a lot of stuff out in the beginning for sure. I think we created quite a bit of music, just kind of stuff. We didn't really process anything, and up until we came to, I think, a point where we started writing with a specific sound and style in mind. And then I think in recent year, we've kind of done more so of that. So more of writing with actually composing, I think, versus just kind of seeing where, throwing things at the wind, which we were doing in the beginning. I think you kind of expect that out of newer bands with newer musicians. I think you kind of just have to go through that cycle. But we're at a spot now where we can just full on compose things on a much more technical level.
Dude, I think that's absolutely awesome, dude. And it just sounds like the music's gonna get even more and more awesome. Now, I was telling Alex a little bit earlier that I was actually very surprised by your guys' sound when I was actually going through more of your catalog, because a lot of your guys' songs are very different from the others. So it's almost like one song you kind of have like this like misfits type of vocals over like this like 90s new rock, new metal rock with like some modern lead guitars over it. And then you switch over to another song and it has like a pop punk type of feel to it, and it's more kind of like sporadic, kind of like Mars Volta-ish. I know you like the Mars Volta. And so yeah, dude, tell me, when you guys go into like writing music, is it always started by a riff, a feeling, or just the lyrics already down?
Man, it's been a lot of things for sure. I think more in the past, it was more, I think a riff or a central idea that we would build off of. And that was a thing for a while. And so I think in the past, I think a lot more riff oriented stuff was kind of the move. And now, so it seems to be more so, um, a an idea that will kind of write fully out and then bring later on. So it's less juxtaposed. So with where it's less kind of sporadic, but we're still always going to have, I think, that mix up in sound. I think we're all pretty heavy genre surfers, to say the least.
No, that's absolutely badass. And you guys are from Portland too, dude. And we definitely hope that all the shows come back over there and all that. And
Yeah.
have you guys been playing a lot of shows for a while? Like, how long has your band been
So we started in 2019, and right away it was like we wrote, we recorded, we played shows. And we, at one point, and this is what we were talking about a little, alluding to a bit earlier, was we had I think like a 2-hour set worth of songs that we wrote, because we just were pushing just all these random ideas out that in hindsight I look at and I'm like, maybe we should have just held back on some of those and got a bit ahead of ourselves. But I think that's kind of I don't think there's any better way to kind of learn the ropes of going out and playing shows more effectively and getting a message across and connecting with people than just playing a ton of shows. And because you just learn so much from every single venue experience, promoter, fans. So yeah.
No, that's awesome, dude. Is there a band that you guys would really look forward to touring with, that maybe like the whole band as an cumulative is a fan of?
Kai, go ahead.
I mean, I think Alex knows what I'm gonna say. I think Ghost is probably the one that I think all of us have are pretty big fans of. We kind of have a giant variety of bands that we all like. We all kind of come from different backgrounds musically, but I think Ghost has been the biggest influence for all of us combined. And not that we're like stealing stuff from them, but they're definitely a huge influence just aesthetically and I think sound wise as well, with their ability to create really, really big sounding compositions that come across really powerful.
I dig it, dude. I dig it. Here's a question for you, Kai. Who's the first guitarist ever that really inspired you to want to be the musician you are, as far as like taking music seriously? Is there somebody like that, like also that like maybe you're still following their career, like almost like day by day? Do you have somebody like that?
I mean, I think I go through phases. I mean, for me, the first guitarist that I think got me into guitar was my dad, and then I've always had at least someone that I've been a huge fan of. I think the most consistent, if I had to say one, was Tosin Abasi. Just on a composition level, the guy can write the most insane stuff. And seeing his techniques and how he puts together chord progressions and the way that he creates something really unique out of a genre like prog is really fun to watch. And then obviously like the guys like Alex Lifeson, Steve Vai, like these are guys that I've always really tried to grab techniques and motifs from. But yeah, I'd say if I had to pick one, definitely Tosin Abasi.
That's awesome. What about you, Alex, vocally? Who's like your first vocalist where like you kind of like idolize and were kind of like their work ethic, their stage performance? I always in your music I see that you're always pushing like your register and your range. Who is that vocalist that pushed you to want to sing the way you sing now?
Oh, well, there's a handful. I would definitely say Bruce Dickinson, Robert Plant, David Bowie, Freddie Mercury, obviously. And then the one that pushed me at one point where I would consider the big changing years in my voice would be Miles Kennedy of Alter Bridge. Just because his range is so phenomenal. And I guess you don't, and they play a lot of heavy bass music, and you don't often hear the two kind of blend together with like this beautiful voice, but then also these insanely heavy riffs. And that was something I just wanted to steal from. And while I'm nowhere near as good as Miles Kennedy, that's something always, I guess, to aspire to.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm a huge fan of Bruce Dickinson too, and of course,
Yeah.
Freddie Mercury and all of them. Absolutely badass, dude. So, before I ask you a couple fun questions towards the end of the interview, let's talk about your new album, "Blessed by My Mistakes." That's coming out here March 26th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it came out. Cool. I'm happy. I forgot to write it down, but I remember right.
Nice.
I'm a professional. So, dude, one thing I like about you guys too, dude, is that you guys are very community oriented. Looking through your files, your videos and your Instagram, high support for the LGBT community. So is the Metal Mixtape and KSKQ, and I love music that's extremely meaningful, man. Anytime I have ever gone to a show, it's always been like the band that wrote that lyric that I could relate to, that kind of like brought me more into the music than like kind of like like some crazy, I don't know, guitar riff. But dude, tell me about this new album and tell me a little bit about the meaning behind it and what you guys put into it.
So the song "Blessed by My Mistakes" lyrically is really just about grappling with depression and understanding that it really kind of oftentimes you are just on your own with a lot of it, and that I guess we always have this vision of healing as kind of just this upward, like this hill going up, but it's kind of more like all this, and then eventually you can find yourself in a better place. But it's silly, I think, to think that happiness and healing is just going to happen immediately. Like there's just some key to it. It's all incremental. And even though I wish it was this accelerated idealism, it's not. It's hard and it's scary. And I think recognizing that is extremely important to me. And I wanted to voice that and wanted to voice it through my own experiences with depression. And that's kind of where the song came from.
Dude, absolutely love it, man. And especially nowadays, it's a huge topic, and we don't talk about it a whole lot, and I would say even on like bringing up depression, I've noticed even in my music scene, a lot of males, not talking about how they feel because of, how society is, saying, oh, you can't express yourself, you can't talk to anybody, but if you harbor all that, of course, nothing good can happen from it. So what you guys are doing, I think is absolutely badass, and I really enjoyed the song and reading people's comments about it, about how there is a whole lot of meaning behind it. Kai, how do you go about structuring this whole album, and to the new fans out there, just tuning in and listening to Yesterday's Youth, how would you explain this album?
Well, I would say that I think with the newer stuff, and I think if you were to kind of follow chronologically, I think you'll notice that I think things are starting to get more heavier and a little bit more darker tonally. And I think that's something that you can expect going forward. We've got a lot planned for 2021 and 2022 that we've already done, things that we're doing, lots of great stuff that is still yet to come out. And so if you like this stuff and you like kind of the direction that this is going, definitely stay tuned for for the rest of the stuff, because it's going to be, I think, in my opinion, I mean, I'm always going to say that the best stuff is always yet to come out, no matter what we release. But yeah, definitely expect more of that.
Do you think it's going to be more proggy, your newer stuff?
Oh, of course, yeah.
You're going to start shredding. What are you playing right now? What is it, a 7 or an 8?
I have a 7-string. I have a multi-scale Ibanez 7, and then I have mostly 6-string. I stick to the 6-string for the most part, but I do have a 7 for rhythm, yeah, and Alex does as well.
Oh, that's badass. Do you guys ever think about venturing to like that low tune of like the 8 string?
Yeah,
is that ever going to be a discussion?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say you could probably count on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, hey, that's badass, man. You know, there's a lot of evolution in music, you know, so there's
Absolutely.
I think a whole new generation's about to embark once again, and you know, the instrument of the guitar is just getting pushed further and further and further. Well, hey guys, I had a good time interviewing you guys. For all the listeners out there, where can they find music from yesterday's youth?
So you can find our music on Spotify, Apple Music, any streaming platform you use. All our music videos you can find on YouTube. You can find our socials on Instagram and Facebook. And most of them are going to be under either Yesterday's Youth or under Yesterday's Youth Music. They're all pretty connected, and we'll link you to the other ones if you're interested.
All right. Sounds good. All right, guys, I'm going to ask you 5 quick questions. We're going to try to get this all done in 1 minute. I'm going to start with you, Alex. In a zombie apocalypse, you only could have one weapon to kill the zombie horde. What is that weapon, Alex?
7-string multi-scale Ibanez.
All right. Same question for you, Kai. In a zombie apocalypse, one weapon to kill the zombie horde. What is that one weapon?
I guess if a car counts as a weapon, I'll take that.
Sounds good.
Damn it. That's way better.
All right, Kai, we're going to start with you on this next one. If you could play guitar for any band for one set in any era, dead or alive, what is that one band?
I'm gonna say Nevermore, only because their riffs sound like something that I would have written. So yeah, we'll go with Nevermore.
That sounds good. All right, Alex, one set, any era, any band. Who is it?
God, it's got to be Rush. I would feel extremely out of my league, but it would be amazing.
All right. I'm just gonna ask you, Alex, this question. In a deserted island, which bandmate do you guys eat first?
Well, Eli's the tallest, so he's got the most meat in his bones. I know typically it'd probably be me because I feel like I'm the heaviest in the band, but we're gonna go with Eli because he's about 6'3".
All right. All right. This next question. This is gonna be questions where you guys describe each other in a way. So Kai, how would you describe Alex in a superhero way? If you could pick any superhero that you think he represents or anime character, who would it be?
This is kind of an inside joke, but I would say probably Cyborg.
All right, Alex, same question. If Kai could remind you of any anime character, superhero, villain, who does he remind you of?
Oh man. I don't know if Kai will probably Kai hasn't seen it, but I would say Gohan from Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, dude. I think that's awesome. I'm a massive Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super fan. I'm one of those nerds that will get in an argument with you about like a fact.
Yep. I would definitely say I'm kind of torn on my answer. I'm between Gohan or Piccolo. One of those.
Yeah, I'm all about Vegeta because he's a great dad.
Yep. He is a badass dad.
Yeah, and Piccolo. Well, hey guys, thank you so much for being on the Metal Mixtape. I appreciate you guys. I can't wait for the fans around the world to tune in, and please go listen to Blessed by My Mistakes. You guys have a new video, whole lot of meaning behind it. Kai and Alex, thank you so much, and you guys have a wonderful night.
Thanks for having us.
Later, guys.
See ya.